أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا خلقنا الإنسان من نطفة أمشاج.
The Quran mentions, "Verily we created man from mixture of germinal drop." Surah Al-Insan, verse 2. The Arabic word amashaj means something that is mixed together. So the word Nutfah Amshajin means mingled liquids. There are two schools of thought regarding the meaning of the word Nutfah Amshajin or mingled liquids. One school of thought, delivered by French Dr. Maurice Bucaille, the commentator of the Muntakab, edited by the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Cairo, and others. Nutfah Amshajin is made up of various components formed by secretions that come from the several glands of the male reproductive system and which we have already mentioned in semen composition. Here the word Nutfah is singular but its meaning is plural. Another school of thought delivered by Canadian Professor Keith Leon Moore, Professor Hamidullah, Mujahid Al-Hassan, Ar-Rabi bin Anas and others. Nutfah Amshajin is a mixture of male and female nutfah or gametes. According to Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, a cousin of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is considered to be the greatest mufassir of the Quran. Nutfah Amshaj means the fluid of the man and the fluid of the woman. Tafsir of Ibn Kathir. The following hadith also supports the second school of thought. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud reported that when the Prophet, peace be upon him, was asked by a Jewish person, "O Mohammed, what is man created from?" The Prophet answered, "O Jew, he is created from both, from the fluid nutfah of the man and the fluid or nutfah of the woman." Musnad Ahmad, Volume 1, p. 465. In whatever way it is translated, both school of thought are scientifically correct. In our research journey, we found Nutfah is a singular indefinite genitive noun and Amshaj is a plural indefinite genitive adjective. Conventional rules of grammar normally permit singular nouns to be described by singular adjectives. But in this verse, Amshaj is a plural adjective used with the singular noun Nutfah. From a scientific point of view, Amshaj is entirely accurate as a plural adjective modifying the singular Nutfah. With the advancement of modern technology, we know that after the fusion of the male and female gametes, they form a zygote. Once the head of the single sperm enters the ovum, the cell membrane of the ovum locks out all the other sperm. After entering the ovum, the tail and outer coat of the sperm dissolve and the genetic material of sperm and ovum will combine. In this diagram, we see that fertilization of the ovum by the sperm creates a zygote, which is a single entity and takes the form of a drop or nutfah. So the zygote is the singular form, hence it is nutfah, and the mixtures contained therein. Nutfah Amshaj is a single entity consisting of the maternal and paternal chromosomes with their genetic material and other contents of the cell mixed in a single drop. This newly formed zygote or drop continues its development, maintaining the shape of the drop but dividing internally into smaller and smaller cells. 4 days after fertilization, the zygote or drop then forms a blastocyst. Although the drop divides internally into cells, it does not change in terms of its nature and appearance. In this diagram, we see that the ovum, zygote, and blastocyst all have the external appearance of a drop, although internally each of them contains many different mixtures. So, the term Nutfah Amshaj truly describes the external appearance and the internal structure of the embryo during this stage, that is Nutfah, externally which looks like a drop, and Amshaj, the internal structure of which contains many mixtures. The word Nutfah has a comprehensive meaning. According to the Quran, it refers to male sperm, female ovum, from zygote to blastocyst. The newly formed structure, blastocyst, is then placed or implanted into the uterus. And according to the Quran, the newly formed blastocyst still remains Nutfah. The Quran mentions, "Then we placed him as a drop in a secure place of settlement, firmly fixed." Surah Al-Mu'minun, Ayah 13. The formation of the Nutfah Amshaj results in the following: creation, genetic programming or planning, sex determination, and implantation. The Quran mentions, from what substance did He create him? He created him from a drop and immediately afterward planned or programmed him. Surah Abasa, Ayah 18-19. We already mentioned that according to the Quran, both male and female gametes are responsible for creating a human being. And regarding creation of human being, modern science says that once sperm fertilizes the ovum, the formation of a 46 chromosome bearing zygote marks the beginning of a new human being. He created him from a drop and immediately afterward planned or programmed him. Here, the word taqdir is the verbal noun form of qadara. Qadara in Arabic means planned, programmed, plotted, preordained, determined, fate. And when preceded by the conjunction fa, indicates programming occurs immediately after fertilization. From the above verse, we got two essential pieces of information. Programming begins immediately after the formation of the zygote, and future programming, planning or plotting of the new individual. So fakadara means immediately upon the formation of the zygote, instant as well as the future programming of the new individual is laid down. And according to modern science, it occurs through the pairing of genes in the process of crossover of chromosomes from the female and male with one another. And at the same time, the future characteristics of the fetus are determined. The zygote is the first complete blueprint of a human being containing a diploid cell with a full set of DNA. This DNA is the molecular code that contains all the genetic instructions needed to guide the development, construction, and upkeep of the human body, including physical traits, organ formation, biochemical processes. And the Quran describes these genetic instructions using the word qadara or preordained fate. So qadara indicating programming that begins immediately after the formation of the zygote, that is, genetic or chromosomal sex determination occurs the moment the sperm fertilizes the egg instantly. And future programming or planning of the new individual, such as physical traits, organ formation, biochemical processes. What the Quran mentioned 1400 years ago in the Nutfah stage, the fate of the new human child, including sex, physical traits, organ formation, biochemical processes, good or bad health, etc., begins to develop. And modern science has recently discovered that these are encoded in genetic programming within DNA. Using the word Nutfah, the Quran refers to the very beginning of human development, starting from a tiny drop of reproductive fluid, which in modern terms is the sperm and ovum at fertilization. And the Quran named the mixture of sperm and ovum as Nutfah Amshaj. The fertilized ovum and its initial stages of division, forming a blastocyst that is ultimately implanted into the female uterus. The Nutfah indeed contains all the genetic information necessary to determine a human's program, plot, preordained, fate, or proportion. So Fakadara provides a powerful and incredibly accurate allusion to the fact that a complete, preordained blueprint for the future human is contained within the initial drop of fluid. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "We are an unlettered people. We neither write nor calculate. The month is like this and this, that is, sometimes 29 and sometimes 30 days. At the same time, it was mentioned in the Holy Quran, "All praise is for Allah. He will show you His signs and you will recognize them. And your Lord is never unaware of what you do." Surah Al-Naml, Ayah 93. So, whose words are written in the Holy Quran when the Prophet, peace be upon him, admits that he is unlettered? Definitely it should be Allah, the Lord of the universe.